All right, everyone, we are back for another battle report. Today we have the Salamanders returning after a bit of a break between these two factions. For a matchup, we got some new units on both sides that either haven't seen the table in a little bit or just haven't been used in quite some time. So we'll start off with my Tyranids here. It's 2,000 points for this battle match play. I brought a Battalion of Behemoth and a patrol of Kronos. So looking at the Behemoth detachment first, we have the Swarmlord with Onslaught and Catalyst. Old One Eye. Swarmlord is the Warlord because it's thematic here, so we're going with that. Neurothrope is in with Unstoppable Hunger. Then we have 17 Gargoyles in the fast attack slot, 10 units of Hormagaunts, and 10 of Termagants. And then we have 3 Venomthropes, a Trygon Prime with the Aracnacyte Gland. I'm just going to give him a go. Last time I brought the Trygon, spoiler, I won't say which battle it was, but he got one-shotted by the very first shot of the game, so we're going to try not to let that happen again. Barb Heirodule with Dermic Symbiosis. Then moving to the Kronos Patrol, we have 3 Ripper Swarms, 6 Hive Guard with Impaler. I got to get that guy painted up. That's my next project. Exocrine, and then the Neurothrope with Symbiostorm, and that is 2,000 points of Behemoth Tyranids.
All right, everybody, we got 2,000 points of pure Salamanders. Starting out with my HQs, I have my Gravis Captain. He's my Warlord, and he's got the +2 toughness Warlord trait. Anvil, something Anvil. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. I got my Lieutenant with Plasma Pistol and Teeth of Terra. I spent an extra CP to give him that relic. My Librarian. He's got Drake Skin and Fire Shield, as well as his Smite. My troop choices, I got a 5-man squad of Assault Intercessors, and I got a 10-man squad of Infiltrators, who I'm going to try to hold out some Tyranid Underground appearing with. I got 2 squads of 5-man attack Marines. Both of them have a Flamer in the squad. And then onto my elites, I have a 5-man squad of Blade Guard Intercessors, all freshly painted up. So they're going to die right off, you know. I got my Blade Guard Ancient. Spent a CP, that extra CP I'd spent for the extra relic, I gave him Purgatorus. And I have a brand new model on the table with the Justiciar. And I'll see how he does. Also, these guys brand new to the table. 5-man squad of Company Vets. Or Stern Guard Vets, however I feel like today. Today they're Company Vets. 3 of them with Combi Meltas and 2 of them with Combi Flamers. Then my 3-man squad of Aggressors, Flamestorm Aggressors, obviously. And then Venerable Dreadnought with the Plasma and the Flamer. And in my heavies, I got a 5-man Devastator squad, 2 Plasmas, 2 Las Cannons, and then 1 Sergeant with a Stormbolter and Chainsword. I got 3 Eliminators and 3 Eradicators and the shell of a drop pod. It's being painted and worked on, so hopefully we'll see a green and orange drop pod here soon. But that's 2,000 points, Salamanders.
All right, everyone, so we're going to take a look at the battlefield, but before we do, a huge shout out to our Patreons, Brian and Teos. Thank you so much for your support. One thing in this report, hopefully the camera angles are decent and you enjoy it. We have a brand new gimbal for our camera that I'm using, so that's the first piece of the equipment. Also is going to be acting as a bit of a tripod as well once we hit the point that we are going to be launching into live streams. That it's the next project, so I have some more equipment lined up for the next purchase, and hopefully, fingers crossed, within 3 months or so, but ideally by the end of November, we'll be up and running for live streams. So we'll get some Basement Wargame live streams. So again, thank you the Patreons there. So shout out for the units. I'll call them out once they deploy. You can become a named unit in the army. So we actually have both of the Patrons appearing in this. Once they deploy, I'll call them out and you can see them. There's also Patronic dice that you will see. So Brian, Patron, Patronic dice for each side here. See if it affects the outcome of the match. So very cool. But let's jump into it. The name, what was the name of the mission? Reconnaissance or not reconnaissance? Oh, we forgot. We were talking about the last one we played, and that's all it's Retrieval. That was, I knew it started with an R. So there's 6 objectives. Deployment zone on both sides is lengthwise, so Hammer and Anvil, I think it is the old name for it. 6 objectives, as I mentioned. So 1 here, here, and then 1 under the little mechanicum thing there, and then the other one on this side. In terms of terrain, just so we cover that for anyone new to the channel and not seeing the terrain features that we have. So these are just standard runes being underneath here and grants you the cover bonus. This is just obscuring terrain. We're counting the trees, just kind of it's an overrun piece of debris there. So this is just one solid piece for obscuring. And then same for this piece here. It's obscuring, but if you're shooting straight through, which may not be quite the case in this match, but it'll be -1 to hit. So aside from that, everything is just true line of sight for the little things. In terms of secondaries, I went with Rod, Engage, Assassinate, excuse me, and then the Salamanders went with Rod, Grind them down, and Oaths, because that is a smart choice for the Space Marines. So we're going to pan over here to our zone. We're going to find out who gets to pick deployment zone. Oh, good start.
Oh no.
Tyranids get to select. So we'll take a look at the table here, deploy, and come back after that. Everyone, so we went ahead and deployed. So looking at the table here, the Tyranids selected this end. Reason for that is just with these L-shaped rune buildings, I had some spots that I could hide the Hive Guard and the rest of my faction. Whereas on this side, it's very open. We were looking at the table. It is a very, very open board in terms of objectives and everything. Like, for example, this one here, there's nowhere really to hide. This one, it's not quite in range to grab it. So objectives are going to be more so in favor of the Salamanders, in my opinion. Then there's one floating right here in the middle. Then this one is the only one that can be held obscured wise right there. And I have my Gargoyles, some Termagants there, but we'll go over where everything is. But just showing off the table here. And then there's one that can be sort of hidden in the back there by those guys. In terms of Deep Strike, the Salamanders have the Veterans, a tac squad that was combat squadded, if I recall. Yes, they were combat squadded inside their drop pod. The Eradicators are strategic reserving, coming in from a side. And then for myself, I'm put the Trygon in. I'm going to try it. Last time, like I said, the Trygon got blasted off the board. I know that's not always the case, but we're going to give it a go here. I know people like seeing different units with the Tyranids. I'm going to try my best to, again, put on a good show with them. And then the Lictor obviously is going to be popping up with the Rippers. So then the rest of my deployment, we have the Gargoyles here, pretty much hidden, which is nice. I got the Venomthropes on this side. Old Wana is just, his butt is perfectly tucked in. We checked with the line there, so he will not be shot turn 1, thankfully. And then Termagants are there with these Neurothropes. No, Venomthropes. And then, and speaking of the named units, as I just mentioned for patrons, this is Brian, the Heirodule. So Brian's going to be hopefully putting in some work. And then we have the Teos Rippers over here. The other patron has become a unit in my army, which is these little fellows there. So they're going to pop up and do some work, I hope. On this side, we have the Exocrine, Termagants, Hormagaunts, essentially the bulk of the Kronos group there. Neurothrope just fell over, but that is the Symbiostorm one. Yeah, so that is the Tyranid deployment. Opposing us, we have right here Blade Guard veterans, Judicar, the Ancients right on the side, along with the Eliminators stalking their way up there. So maybe I'll go after them. We'll see. Then over this way, we have the Phobos guys at the back, 5 of them. And then over here, we have 5 more Phobos guys. The Aggressors, Assault guys, and Assault Intercessors, that is. The Lieutenant is hanging at the back there, right here. Dreadnought, and then Devastators hanging out at the top, and then the Combat Squad attack guys over here. And then the Captain, where is he? Oh, he's on the other side with the Librarian. So, and then that is it for the Salamanders. So, it should be a great game. Again, the terrain is it's going to be hard to say who it benefits here. The Tyranids are going to have a hard time with the Behemoth portions, but I think the Kronos portion is looking prime. So let's find out who's going first in this report. Again, there is 2 Patronic dice, one for the Salamanders, one for the Tyranids. They can be used at any time, and we will be captured on camera. If you want to become a patron, check out the link in the video description below. Here we go. Ooh, Tyranids.
It's broken.
It's broken. The break. The break of the Salamanders here. The Tyranids have seized first turn, and what seems like forever against their foe, the Salamanders. But we'll see if they can get the job done. Again, lots of tough units here, and also getting first turn. It means I have to come out to him rather than him coming closer to me. So we'll come back after movement. Turn 1, Tyranids. The movement is done for the Tyranids. So on this side, my Exocrine came out. He had to pop out, do his thing, looking at some juicy Blade Guard maybe. Then over this way, we have the Gargoyles just kind of jumping in the middle. They're also on the objective in the middle with the Exocrine. I'm trying to win with redundancy. Here's the thing. Get a good start on primaries to kick the game off. Barb Heirodule had to come out. Just got to get some shots down. Ideally, again, kill those aggressors and then really make my... if I don't kill them, charging is going to be a nightmare. Old one I moved up. He's protected from the Devastators and just kind of hanging out. And nothing can make the charge against him with the Gaunts in front of him. Then it's too far for the Dreadnought to even come around this way. Swarmlord's holding this objective by the tip of his base there, and with no windows, he won't be getting shot, with the Venomthropes extending their bubble around just for protection. Hive Guard stayed still with the other Neurothrope, with the Gaunts doubling up on this objective, rotting this corner with the Termagants. So that is done, and then between all of them, they'll stay alive, and then we'll see what happens to those Eliminators. But that's it for movement. We'll come back after the shooting and psychic. So turn is done. A little bad, little good. Got rid of the Devastators. Hive Guard had the double fire into them. The first volley actually wasn't too bad. I rolled miserably on my damage rolls. I rolled a, I think, yeah, 3 2s, and then just I had 5 wounds through, and then the extra would just spilled over. And then I double tap, handedly cleared them off the second one. But then I fired with the Exocrine. I didn't get Symbiostorm off, which really hurt. However, I stopped. I almost perilled. I rolled double ones, re-rolled, and then rolled the 1 and then a 2. So it didn't peril at least, so can't complain about that. And then the Exocrine firing in. He rolled pretty good on his saves there. Killed off 2, but I'll take it. Then over this way, the Barbed Heirodule killed off 1 aggressor, so just starting to chip away at them. There's nothing that can really return fire. I had to get rid of the Devastators because them and the drop pod and these guys are really the only threat next turn in terms of shooting, especially against my big guys. But that's it for Tyranids turn. Not scoring anything for engage. 1 rod section is done, and just kind of slowly setting up to start assassinating. So we'll come back after Salamanders movement. Turn 1. All right, so movement is done. On this side, the Blade Guard came forward to handily secure the objective with the Blade Guard Veteran, or Blade Guard Ancient, and then the Judiciary came over this way within 3 of the Blade Guard, so he's safe. Both those guys came out with the 12-inch bubble zoning out this side, so I have to kill them if I wish for my Lictor to come in. These guys just chilled right there. Drop pod came in, disembarking the tax squad, or sorry, the veterans on this side, and the tax squad coming on the other. Dreadnought moved up the Librarian. The aggressors advanced over this way with the intercessors. Phobos guys moved up and advanced into there, so zoning out that corner with these guys tucking back against the wall there. I have nothing that will be able to come in essentially in his zone without focusing on killing the back stuff, which takes pressure off the front. So good play there, and that is movement done for Salamanders on turn 2. Some psychic and shooting to come up, and then we'll come back. All right, that ends Salamander's turn. So killing off all but 3 of my Hormagaunts right there. He could have probably finished them off with the Dreadnought, but decided to keep the 3 alive because there's no way that he was going to grind them down because there's no other units that were going to die. So it's a fairly easy target to take out there, and I do need to hold this objective, so things are going to be just poking around. So we'll see what happens with them. Then over this way, lost 3 Gaunts from that squad, and then the Barbed took 3 damage from the supercharged plasma cannon, not making my invuln and failing all my Feel and Pains. He had Catalyst off on him. The Marines did get some points here with Oaths, with these guys, being that they're in the middle, and I didn't kill them. I had to kind of give that out. I think we were just talking, killing the Devastators over them, I think, was the play, and then nothing scored for engage for the Salamanders, just like myself, and nothing scored for grind them down. So score is 4-1 in favor of the Salamanders heading into turn 2 movement. So a little bit of cat and mouse here in this game. I think it's going to play out really good, actually. Salamanders are poised to counterattack pretty well, but if I get a decent shooting phase this time, I think it'll be in my favor. But if I don't, I think the Salamanders have a bit of an edge. Still with the Eradicators to come waltzing onto the table. So we'll come back after Tyranids movement turn 2. So movement is done for the Tyranids. So Barb Heirodule is just hanging where he is. He can shoot everything that I want him to shoot as of right now. Actually, sorry, I wanted to move him just slightly forward because I want him to shoot at the aggressors. He is a line into them. But aside from that, the Venomthropes holding the objective. I was scoring 2 for primaries, holding 3, or hold 2 and hold 1, while holding 3 objectives, that is. So Venomthropes holding that objective there. Swarmlord came up. He's going to double move himself. Going to hopefully clear off a bunch of guys here. Then Swarmy can hang out in the corner there without any Eradicators coming to get him. Old Wani is going to come with the Trygon, hopefully, using his Aracnacyte Gland, get up and get that drop pod down. Potentially those guys, depending on... Old Wani will get them potentially, hopefully. And then over this way, the Neurothropes moved out of line of sight of these guys and outside of deny range, just like actually this Neurothrope, the first one might be in it, but not the Symbiostorm one, to get some smites off against these guys. Gargoyles jumped over here, going to hopefully chip away at whatever needs to be done, maybe do a wound or two, and then charge in and steal this objective. That's the plan. And then the Venomthropes rotting this corner, so that's 2 rods done. And then Hive Guard obviously staying where they are. The other 3 Termagants, I went for a gutsy move. I tried to advance and move them. I need a 4 on the dice to get up and steal that objective, being OPSEC. I rolled a 2, and I went at 6 CP, so I shall not spend any. These guys just spread out holding this objective. Not much I can really do there. But hopefully there's enough distractions that they are not getting shot. So we'll come back after Psychic and Shooting for the Tyranids. On turn 2, I am not bringing in my Lictor or my Rippers. I'm going to hold off with them and see what happens here. Hopefully they can do their job and come in. Oh, so off to a good start here in the Psychic phase. I got Symbiostorm off on the Hive Guard. Smiting these guys, got an 11. So we're going to access some Patronic power for me. So Brian, this roll here coming up. Here we go. Patronic dice roll. We'll see if it helps or hinders the Salamanders. So let's look for that 6. Here we go. A 5. Cannot complain about that. So Patronic power, everyone. So support me on Patreon and let me roll good. But the Salamanders still have Patronic dice to come in to play. So that is 5 mortals onto these lads, and we'll come back after the Psychic and Shooting complete. So Tyranids turn is completed. The dice just they're very much in favor of the Tyranids here, so hopefully they can flip back so we keep the game going good. Over this way, the Blade Grabber finished off by Smite coming in from this Neurothrope, rolling an 11, so it's another Super Smite, 4 mortal wounds, so crazy stuff over here. The Gargoyle was firing at him, the Judicar, and dropped him 3 wounds. So very fortunate with that. Then over this way, the Assault Intercessors were killed by the Exocrine. The Barbed Heirodule finished off the aggressors. And the Hive Guard shot once, killed all but one of these attack marines, double tapped, put 4 shots into there, and then the rest into him. He made all his saves and then finished off that guy, so clearing that objective. So I have a bunch of charges going to go down, so we got some Gargoyles with Unstoppable Hunger coming in at the Judicar. Then over this way, we got Old One-Eyed Gaunts, Trygon, and the Swarmlord hopefully coming in, making that. Failed charges here would be huge and really help out the Salamanders. There's a lot of Flamers and everything over this way. So we'll see what happens. So we'll come back after the charges go down. All right, so that ends the turn for Tyranids. So over this way, 5 Gargoyles were slain by the Judicar piled in, and my Psychic power actually did not help me. And then over this way, Swarmlord. Over here, I started off with the way it went down is the Gaunts charge in first against Attack Marines. 8 some Overwatchers, only 2 left. Then Old One-Eye came in, the Attack Marines and the Dreadnought, just in case I wanted to fight that too, depending on how things went down. These guys came in and tried to bait the Born Protectors over this way, but he let them go. And then Swarmlord came in and then he used Born Protectors, using the Dreadnought just to get the max Flamers there. There's a few Flamers over here that weren't in range or anything like that. So just better bet with the Dreadnought plus the Plasma, getting some extra damage and with a flat 3. And then there's a chance, depending on how movement went, could have piled in. Anyway, I did 5 wounds to Swarmlord, dropping down to 7, but he took care of the Lieutenant And then these guys were taking care of him one volley from Old Bonnie, who piled into this along with the Gaunts. So they're safe in combat where that is immobile. Well, safe. The Dreadnought can come and slap them around. Then over here, like I said, 5 Gargoyles killed, no damage done, return. And that ends our turn for Tyranids on turn 2. So we're going to head into... Oh, and the Trygon failed his charge, if you're wondering about him. So at big hopes, but he failed his 3 dice, discard the lowest rerollable charge. So kind of sad there, but that's all good. So we're going to move into Salamanders turn 2. Movement is done on turn 2. So over this way, the Phobos boys coming forward, giving position for the Lictor, but at this point they have to come forward and stem the Tyranids. The Eradicators came in this way to get shots off over towards the Hormagaunts and kind of see what happens there, just lend some support. There really wasn't any other targets for them. They could have came in back over here to shoot Swarmlord, but at that point, they'd pretty much be done for most of the rest of the game for like hitting big things. But at least if they're here and they do not get harmed, then they can start walking up and get rid of those Hive Guards who are really ruining the day for the Salamanders. And then over on this side, everyone just move forward to engage Swarmlord and hopefully take him out. And then charging and clear off Old One Eye and potentially those Gaunts. So that's it. We're going to come into Psychic and shooting and see what happens. Oh, and the Captain moved back to grab that objective. So resecuring, hopefully the objectives. All right, so turn is done for the Salamander. So really good turn, clearing off the Hormagaunts here, dealing 3 wounds to the Neurothrope. Where is he? Right there, from the sniper lads right there, and then these guys shot and killed the other 3 Hormagaunts. So clearing off this side of the troops. Over this way, though, big story of this turn is Swarmlord is down to 3 wounds. Used Crucible on this Dreadnought, fired in, and got a single wound roll through. It failed my save, spent a CP, rerolled it past the invul. So Swarmlord's alive and thus cannot be charged. Or Old One Eye can't be charged because the Dreadnought can't fit around Swarmlord's base, but it can charge him, no problem. So we're going to move into the charges now. Obviously, everyone's going to go at that, and I think there's going to be a big showdown over here between a ton of stuff. So we'll come back after the charging and fighting and see what the table looks. That ends the turn. So over this way, I have a Gargoyle remaining. They were wiped out by these guys quite easily, and him. Over here, Swarmlord was taken out by the Dreadnought just barely. Tried to spend another CP to keep him alive, but did not work out. So got the 1 wound through and killed him. Old One Eye smashed apart the Dreadnought, and the Gaunts were actually killed by the drop pod. Forgot about that. So that's pretty much it for the turn. So, I mean, you killed a lot of stuff, but I don't think enough. No, 1, 2. That was kind of close. Catching up for kill points it is. So no grind them down this turn. Nothing for engage. Oh, no, sorry, for you. For this one.
Oh, I didn't have engage.
Oh, no, right. Sorry.
I got my...
Yeah, raw.
I did not get
grind
and I did get 3 points. I got 4 points.
Yeah, because you killed Swarmlord. Yep. Nothing fell back. At least. So there we have it. So that ends the turn. We'll move into Tyranids turn 3 and see how the table looks like. The movement done for the Tyranids. So over this way, both Neurothropes advanced and moved, getting over onto this side. So far enough that the Dreadnought can get smite. I knew I had to go into deny range. There's not a whole lot I could do. Barb moved back just that way he can still shoot at all his targets, but then the Eradicators can't possibly get him. Exocrine just stayed still. Hive Guard stays still. That way they can kind of pick and choose who they're going to go at. And Old One Eye is coming for the Captain back here. If we can get in and take care of the Captain, he doesn't have enough CP to interrupt. We're golden. Then over this way, if I can kill the Dreadnought with some decent shooting, then the Trygon can go for the Librarian. And then if we get him, then we're sitting real good on points. So we'll see what happens, and we'll come back after Psychic and shooting for the Tyranids. Shooting is done for the Tyranids. Took these guys down to 1 guy with 2 wounds left, with double firing my Hive Guard. Hive Guard also initially shot, or sorry, I guess what happened first is the Dreadnought was dropped down to 4 wounds, or sorry, 5 wounds by the smites coming in from over here. 1 smite went off, and Symbiostorm from this Neurothrope went off on the Hive Guard. Then the Barb Heirodule shot at the Dreadnought in hopes of getting lucky there, but dropped him down to 4. The After that, the Hive Guard fired in and really easily took care of the Dreadnought. Some very good rolling there. Exocrine fired in, killed off the Phobos guys there, then double tapped to end the turn. With that, so we got some charges going to go down. Old One Eye is going to face down against the Captain. And we both are at 0 CP. And then the Trygon is going to make it in, hopefully there. If not, I'm going to be really sad about that Aracnacyte Gland. And then we'll come back after that and see how the table looks. So the turn has ended. The Trygon came in, killed off the Librarian, and then held that objective. Old One Eye didn't manage to kill the Captain. He is down to 1 wound. Old One Eye is down to 3 wounds, just barely staying alive. Needed had 5 wounds go through against me. I needed to roll at least 1 6 on the 5 dice and got 2 6s, so keeping him alive with 3. So that ends the turn for Tyranids, and we're going to move into Salamanders turn 3. See how it looks. As of right now, we'll just take a quick tally on the points for this turn. I got 3 for engage for that one. Oh, 3 is the most you can get. Yeah, 2 then, yeah, 2 then 3. And then Assassinate, I killed 1 character, the Librarian. So a little bit on the line there. So yeah, so 31. 2, and then you're at, yeah, for that one. Yeah, so right there, that was a big deal, him making it there. So still some points on the board. Oaths is still keeping the Salamanders quite healthily in the game. I killed 3 units that turn, so you have to kill 3 of mine, which isn't out of the realm of possibility. There's a few easy targets, but that would involve having to move back. So, but we'll see what the Salamanders do. Turn 3. So movement is done for the Salamanders on turn 3. Getting the 3rd rod done for them with this little eradicator there. So just moving up forward, throwing it down in this quarter. The veteran, the ancient's just holding this objective. There's not much he could do really. Like even if he came back, he wouldn't be able to hold the objective and go with them. They're potentially looking to make a charge, kill the Lictor, because again, kill points is the name of the game right now. Judicar came over just staying protected, saving those points. These guys came over ready to just melt the Trygon, hopefully with some melted guns and flamer weapons. 1 CP back for the Salamanders, and the Captain staying in the fight against the Old One Eye. So into the shooting phase here. The Trygon has been shot. Crucible has went off for the Salamanders, dropping them down to 0 CP, but likely worth it here. So 2 Melta hits went through for now. We're going to use the Patronic dice to roll the damage for them. AP -4, so I don't get to save. So there'll be 2 sets of these, but we'll see if we can one-shot them. So first one, no, and then the second Melta.
Double 3s.
So
6 damage
consistent. So halfway dead, and then a bunch of flamer shots are about to come through. So shooting is done. We're just measuring up here to see the charge distance. The Trygon is down to 1 wound. After all the flamers went through. We also corrected it to we caught the Promethean Cult's attack doctrines active, so adding 1 to the wound roll already, so instead used that 1 CP had to do the mortals with the flamers out there. So 6-inch charge coming up. If not, the Trygon lives.
And a 5-inch there.
Or then a 5-inch. We're going to capture that as well, because that's a big one. So has to get in and get the Lictor. Again, has to kill some units here, going for that.
Lictor first. Failed the launch.
I need a 5 there. That's then 6 needed on the dice for
7.
That's it. So Trygon potentially going to fall here. And then Old One Eye is also going to get to hopefully take down that Captain, but we'll see what happens. So Old One Eye has fallen sadly. Couldn't quite make the cut against the Captain, rolling some solid in-ball saves. Captain stays alive. Then over this way, the Trygon was not killed. It's still alive. Passed I think 4 or 5 3-up saves and killed a single guy in return. So doing something there. And that ends the turn. So in terms of points right now, you are at 26, I think it is. 16. Oh, collectively, okay. Yeah, so 31 to 16 is the score right now in favor of the Tyranids, and then we also both we're tied on Rod as well, so it's essentially, that is the real-time score. So we'll come back, Tyranids turn 4, and just see what it looks like. All right, so we're going to call the game there. So turn 4 had happened, and then to quickly recap, the Lictor ran over this way, stole the objective, Trygon moved back, the Hive Guard shot in, killed the Captain, Exocrine fired off between the Barb Heirodule actually didn't even shoot but killed them, and then the Barb still could have shot over this way. But either way, Smites came in and overkilled him. So all in all, it was there's no possible way the Salamanders could have came back into it. So we just calculated the rest of the points because definitely the turn 4 points would have been still awarded to the Salamanders playing the rest of that turn out. So they got 4 for O's because we both agreed definitely the Trygon will fall. It has 1 wound, and these guys shooting plus Crucible's back definitely would have been taking him out. Plus there's these guys that come out and still has bolter shots. So again, we both agreed definitely the Trygon would have fell to that. And also my turn, the Gargoyle had just enough movement to jump from his little hiding spot there, rod that quarter, so rod was complete for the Tyranids, and there's no possible way the Salamanders could complete rod themselves. With these guys coming around, they would just get obliterated by anything that came close, and to do anything like assaulting in wouldn't have been able to see them get out of it. So the end score is 59-33. So some key moments in this matchup that I think really decided. We both agreed the Super Smite coming through from the Neurothropes was a game changer. Just killing off those Blade Guards so easily really freed me up, especially in here, moving around other stuff. Could have focused down on certain other aspects of the match. And then as well, it was a game of things hanging on by a thread for the Tyranids. The Swarmlord, this guy, old One Eye, just hanging on, rolling 1/6 to stay alive. And then there was one other thing too. There was a few other units that were just hanging on. The Gargoyles, Swarmlord making it through. Old One Eye just hanging on. There's one other thing. Oh, and then even the Termagants just having like a body left there, a body left on the other side, making all the difference. So really close game in the end. I don't think the points quite reflect how swingy this was. So a really good matchup, very interesting table to play on. So as you can see, there's quite a few fire lanes that, looking at the table now, very clear, like straight down the middle. Not a lot of things left on either side. So looking at the dead pile there, it's pretty empty. So on both ends. So good matchup. Well, definitely stay tuned for more. I think we're going to potentially break out the Ultramarines against the Orcs and kind of a thematic matchup. Potentially play, maybe not a match play, we'll see. Potentially something else just to kind of get a feel for that, and also break out some new armies on the channel. Again, if you want to look into supporting us on Patreon, we're looking into getting into live stream. There is some equipment and some work to be done on that end, but it is coming in the future, and your support means a lot. Again, this gimbal that I'm using right now, trying to pan around and move very smoothly. Hopefully will improve your viewing experience, and then as well we can just create an enjoyable battle report to follow along that's visually and easy to follow along with. So thank you so much for watching. Check out the video description below. You've seen here the named units, Brian coming in clutch, those Patronic dice also coming in clutch on both sides sort of, and then the Taos Rippers again over here, just doing their thing, coming up, humbly gathering points.